Hi, everyone. I'm Alexandra Kostoulas, and I'm the founder and executive director of the San Francisco Creative Writing Institute. We started this institute in 2015 after several successful years of teaching Jack Rape's method writing program in San Francisco. It's an independent creative writing workshops, and then they it sort of dovetailed into a larger institute where we invited uh, uh, teachers from different backgrounds and different specialties to come and bring their expertise and teach different types of creative writing to the community at an affordable rate, but at sort of an MFA level education, but for anybody who wanted to take a class. And we envision ourselves as the kind of organization that's accessible for someone who wants to do creative writing as a hobby for fun, but also somebody who might want to pursue it as a calling or a vocation. And we sort of work in that whole spectrum. And our motto is that anyone can find their voice and tell their story. So I'm going to talk a little bit about City Stories Project, and I'm really glad that you guys are here to listen to it. And I'm thrilled to share it with you. It's a really great project. It was started in 2016 and 2017. SF Creative Writing Institute partnered with Safe House for the Performing Arts to co-produce the program Central Market Now, which featured a live reading series and cultural workshops. Actually creative writing workshops. Audience was cultivated from local neighborhoods of Mid-Market, Tenderloin, and Soma. The program was supported by the California Arts Council. We took it over in 2016, 2017. It had been going on via Safe House, and then we partnered with them after to focus specifically on creative writing. And then we curated and hosted readings featuring local organizations, elevating the voices of Black, Indigenous, Latinx, Asian American, and immigrant writers from all over the Bay Area. One of the things we did that was fun with City Stories was we had 6 readings. I think it ended up being 7 or 8 because we did some before we got the grant. But we hosted 6 after we got the grant, where we invited local curators that we liked who were doing reading series anyway that were interesting. And we said, okay, you 6 curators, each month you're going to bring in your people. And so we invited MK Chavez from Lyrics and Dirges. She brought in her group. And then we invited Nomadic Press. They did Nomadic Press All-Stars. They brought in their group. We invited Marguerite Munoz to she does a very nice reading series at Alley Cat Books, which name escapes me, but it's a great one, and I'll remember it at 2 in the morning. But she did The Future is Female, and had a sort of a collaboration between all different female artists, high school all the way up to emerging to advanced. And we sort of did these really great workshops, and then we invited we had creative writing workshops where we partnered and went into local communities, tried to get people from the SROs to join, the everyday starving artists to join, people from different organizations like Larkin Street Youth. We invited them, and we hosted them at Safe House for the Performing Arts, the old Safe House on One Grove, thanks to Joe Landini, who let us use the space, and then also at the WeWork on 25 Taylor, where we had our location, and we had pizza. And we just hosted these creative writing workshops and said anyone can come, and they were taught by Daphne Gottlieb and later Paul Corman Roberts, and we just sort of riffed on the idea of the city, what makes a city, what's your city story, and they were great. And so and that's sort of at the end of one of them, we got the idea that we would start to sort of continue to gather city stories from the people that live in San Francisco. A lot of people from Oakland came, and at the end, our last event, I think Paul Corbin Roberts left the room to get the pizza, and then everybody started crying, and we were like, "Why are you crying?" And they had all been affected by the ghost ship fire, and they all were there to sort of emotionally kind of get catharsis and write about it. It was like 3 or 4 different people who had lived there and worked there, and their friends had passed away. So um, we thought, well, maybe we should expand the idea of city stories to include other cities, Oakland, or but the idea of a city and what makes a city and what makes the writer of a city is interesting, and so that's where we're at, and it's been an interesting ride. We took a break, mostly because I had 2 kids. So, and I thought we put it on the back burner, and we were running the institute, and then the pandemic happened. But then we thought, you know what, let's bring it back. And with the help of Brittany Delaney, our grant writer, we were able to bring back City Stories, and this is the comeback. And we hope to expand on it and keep adding to it and recording the stories. And the people you're going to hear are an eclectic mix of writers who've taken workshops with me, whose stories impressed me over the years, and I felt because they were about growing up in San Francisco specifically. Also a historian who talks about San Francisco, and then a writer whose work is deeply entrenched in San Francisco and sort of living here and coming of age in the city, and then a dancer and performer and choreographer. And so it's sort of like the first of many conversations. It's not meant to be exhaustive. It's not the entire city here. It's just a small fragment of the city. And we hope to get funding in the future and really do some hard work to seek the stories of the city and find the untold stories and the unheard voices, especially from marginalized communities. But that takes more work on our part, which we're willing to do.